For me, one of the most intriguing games to emerge from E3 2014 was Homefront: The Revolution. I was one of the few people who actually thought the original had potential within the FPS category, despite being unremarkable in execution. The premise was interesting, and there aren't many games that deal with the vulnerabilities of guerrilla warfare, and The Revolution aimed to focus on how regular untrained citizens fight against a well-armed military force. As of recently, the game's development has been rather shaky, due to payment conflicts at Crytek UK that have left staff protesting and even the game director resigning, sparking fear for the future of both Homefront: The Revolution and Crytek in general. Luckily, the game is now in the hands of Deep Silver, and much of the Crytek UK staff have transferred to the new subsidiary, giving us more faith that the game will see itself through to release. Originally, Crytek was taking a financial risk with buying the rights from the now defunct THQ, considering the game wasn't a critical gem and it was crushed under the weight of other shooters, including Crytek's major franchise release, Crysis 2. Which just so happened to come out a week after the release of the original Homefront in March 2011. Imagine buying the rights to a game you squashed 3 years ago. Despite the modest reception, Homefront was a surprising commercial success, by selling just under 2.5 million units as of July 2014, making it profitable enough to make a sequel. The surprise generated from The Revolution was simply due to being in the right place at the right time, as there is now a market willing to try new experiences, as well as a rising appeal for grounded futuristic settings, considering modern warfare has become pretty much stale. Yet, the problem is that Crytek is risking another franchise IP that can't guarantee to live up to the 3 million plus units that Crysis 2 sold, especially considering Crysis 3, which came out last year, sold under 2 million units, and their most recent venture, Ryse, Son of Rome, failed to generate even 1 million sales. In my eyes, the failure of Ryse is intrinsic to Crytek's situation, as the game was expected to do well considering it was a major launch title for the Xbox One. But surely that's fair for just one platform, right? Well, when you consider that the PlayStation 4 exclusive Killzone Shadowfall sold just under 2 million units, that's worrying for Microsoft. As an independent firm that developed predominantly for the PC, Crytek has had a rather consistent relationship with Microsoft, which evidently went sour following the conflict over the Ryse IP, that subsequently left the sequel canned. As a result, this confirms a suspicion to me that Microsoft limited some of the creative freedom from Crytek. While I'm not directly accusing Microsoft of foul play, Crytek was left suffering from the failure of Ryse, as Microsoft intended it to display the power of the Xbox One. And what better way to display the power of technology than hire the company that notoriously created a game with an engine that couldn't even run on the highest quality graphics card. Crytek was the perfect choice for Microsoft to show off the power of the Xbox One. However, what Ryse became was an over-glorified tech demo, rather than a game that had various playstyles like the original Crysis. There's definitely something suspicious when a 10-year-old game like Far Cry displayed the true power of computer graphics, while still being a great game in the process, much like Crysis in 2007. But when it comes to the pressure of marketing a new gaming platform alongside major competitors, suddenly production values overshadowed the necessity to make a great game. And this is something that Crytek would certainly not care for. Crytek are a development company and respect the creative practices of game design over the financial ramifications of any industry. That is the distinction between publisher and developer, despite the fact that both have the same intentions to make a game that is suitable for audiences. It would be concerning to see them with such unambitious design choices like those found in Ryse, so it appears as though they focused on the graphical elements to assist in Microsoft's showcase, leaving the gameplay in a critical condition. In my perspective, the influence of Microsoft Studios was a major contribution to the failure of Ryse, and as a result of its poor sales, Crytek suffered the financial burden which evidently followed into the development of Homefront: The Revolution. Being stuck with the financial loss was not something Crytek ever intended, but as witnessed and theorized by many journalists and even professionals, you could argue that Microsoft Studios was willing to let Crytek fall from glory just to escape defeat.